Good morning, I'm Dilek Tuna. You're watching A News. Here are your top stories for the hour. The United States and Japan have signed a new framework agreement to secure supplies of critical minerals and rare earths. Jamaica and Cuba on high alert as Hurricane Melissa kills 7 across the Caribbean. And a strong earthquake hits western Turkey, causing damage and injuries. The United States and Japan have signed a new framework agreement to secure supplies of critical minerals and rare earths. The deal comes as US President Donald Trump visits Tokyo for talks on trade and security.
US President Donald Trump met with Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in Tokyo on Tuesday during the second stop of his Asia diplomacy tour. The talks centered on trade, with both leaders signing a framework agreement aimed at securing the supply of critical minerals and rare earths through mining and processing. The two countries plan to collaborate using economic policy tools and coordinated investments to build more diversified markets for these essential materials. Security cooperation was also a key topic, with the two leaders signaling what they called a new golden age for the US-Japan alliance. Trump expressed his gratitude for the strong partnership.
On behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level.
Takaichi, in turn, praised Trump's role in promoting global stability.
In such a short period of time, the world has become more peaceful. I highly value President Trump's unwavering commitment to world peace and stability. I myself have been deeply impressed and inspired by you.
Before departing for South Korea on Wednesday, Trump is scheduled to meet with business leaders. In Seoul, he is expected to hold talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in hopes of reaching a truce in the ongoing trade war between the world's two largest economies.
US President Donald Trump has once again hinted at the possibility of seeking a third term, despite the US Constitution limiting presidency to 2. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump said he has not ruled out running for the White House again, but dismissed the idea of serving as vice president in 2028.
I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. You read it. Am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen commented on helium balloons over Lithuania and called it a hybrid threat. She wrote on her X account that Europe stood in full solidarity with Lithuania in the face of the persistent incursions of helium smuggling balloons into its airspace. Leyen added the balloons were another reason to accelerate the EU flagship Eastern Flank Watch and European drone defence initiatives. Lithuania's Prime Minister Inga Ruginien said on Monday her country would begin to shoot down smuggler balloons across the border from Belarus, which have repeatedly interrupted the Baltic nations' air traffic. Israel says that it received the body of another deceased hostage from Gaza on Monday, handed over by Hamas. The Red Cross transported the coffin to Israel, where forensic tests will confirm the identity of the remains. It confirmed the remains of 12 hostages would still be in Gaza. The latest handover followed Israel allowing an Egyptian team to help the Red Cross search in Gaza on Sunday. Earlier, 20 surviving hostages were freed in a US brokered deal for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. A powerful Category 5 hurricane is tearing through the Caribbean, leaving at least 7 people dead as Jamaica braces for a direct hit. Hurricane Melissa has already caused widespread flooding and evacuations across the region.
Jamaica is bracing for the full force of Hurricane Melissa, the strongest storm in the world this year and possibly the most powerful ever to strike the island. With maximum sustained winds of 282 kilometres per hour, the Category 5 hurricane has already claimed at least 7 lives across the Caribbean, including 3 in Jamaica and 4 in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The storm's slow movement and extreme strength could bring catastrophic flooding, landslides and life-threatening storm surges across Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has urged residents to stay indoors and take every precaution.
We urge persons to stay inside, stay within the precincts of your home, the curtilage of your property. Don't venture outside unnecessarily because the winds, as you can see, can pick up at any time. The rains can come at any time. You can be caught in a flash flood. So we urge you to, at this time, stay inside. That's the safest place to be at the moment.
The government has opened more than 880 shelters nationwide and ordered evacuations in flood-prone communities, including parts of Kingston, such as Port Royal. As Hurricane Melissa loomed, Montego Bay authorities rushed to complete drainage and river cleaning work to reduce the risk of flooding in low-lying areas. Melissa has already caused devastation in Haiti, where heavy rains inundated Lake Hayes and forced thousands from their homes. UNICEF confirmed at least 3 deaths in Port-au-Prince as displaced families struggle to find safety.
We have nothing in our hands to live on. If a hurricane hits, we're screwed. If the hurricane comes on top of all the problems we already have, we'll simply die.
In Cuba, authorities have begun mass evacuations ahead of the storm's expected arrival late Tuesday. More than 500,000 people have been moved from coastal and mountainous regions.
My house is in very bad condition. The members of government quickly told me that I had to evacuate as soon as possible due to the proximity of this Category 5 hurricane. It is very dangerous for Santiago de Cuba.
Meteorologists warned that Melissa could hover over Jamaica for more than 24 hours before slowly moving toward eastern Cuba and the Bahamas later this week.
Now, global warming is triggering irreversible changes in nature. That's according to more than 150 scientists in a newly published Global Tipping Points report. They say coral reefs are already undergoing irreversible collapse, with other ecosystems at risk ahead of next month's COP30 summit in Brazil.
A new study warns the planet is crossing dangerous climate thresholds faster than expected. The Global Tipping Points report, compiled by 160 scientists worldwide, says the world's coral reefs are in near total collapse, marking the first irreversible tipping point in nature. Researchers link this to record marine heat waves that bleached more than 80% of reefs, threatening the quarter of all marine life that depends on them. The report comes just weeks before the COP30 climate summit in Brazil, where nations will face pressure to accelerate emission cuts. Researchers say the Amazon rainforest could be the next major system to fail if temperatures rise above 1.5 degrees Celsius. They also warn that disruption to a key ocean current, known as the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, could alter weather patterns across Europe. Lead author of the Global Tipping Points report, Tim Lenton, said change is happening fast and tragically, but noted signs of progress as renewables outpaced coal for the first time this year, according to the think tank Ember. Global temperatures have already risen about 1.4 degrees since pre-industrial times, according to UN and EU data. With current policies, the world is still heading toward 3 degrees of warming, far beyond safe limits.
Deadly clashes have erupted in Cameroon's largest city after 92-year-old President Paul Biya was declared the winner of Sunday's election. Security forces moved in to break up protests, leaving several people dead and fueling anger among young voters.
The world's oldest president, Cameroon's 92-year-old Paul Biya, has won election again, the country's top court said Monday. The Constitutional Council declared him the winner with 53.7% of the vote, compared to 35.2% for opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakari. Biya's decision to seek another term angered youth and the opposition, which has accused him of having a hand in the disqualification of his strongest rival and using state machinery to manipulate the election. In Cameroon's largest city, riots broke out from Sunday. Security forces used force to disperse crowds, leaving at least 4 people dead in recent days.
We held the protest because President Paul Biya stole our victory, and we, the people, are demanding that victory back. They had already planned everything in advance.
We have suffered enough. Young people are not working. Everyone is suffering. There are no jobs, and the country is in chaos.
Paul Biya has ruled the Central African country for 43 years. This is his 8th term in office. He is only the 2nd head of state to lead Cameroon since its independence from France in 1960.
Turning to Africa, the UN has called for safe passage for trapped and terrified civilians in Sudan's Al Fasher after fighters from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces claim to have seized control of the besieged city. UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher expressed deep alarm over reports of civilian casualties and mass displacement amid fierce fighting in the city. He stressed that civilians must be granted access to humanitarian aid. According to the UN, some 260,000 civilians, half of them children, remain stranded in Al Fasher without food or humanitarian assistance. Residents in Turkey's Balıkesir province are grappling with the aftermath of a powerful 6.1 magnitude earthquake. Emergency teams are working to assess damage and provide shelter for those affected.
A magnitude 6.1 earthquake struck the town of Sindirgi in Balıkesir province late Monday night, hitting at a shallow depth of just 6 kilometers. The quake caused at least 3 previously damaged buildings to collapse. Several aftershocks were also felt in Istanbul and the neighboring provinces of Bursa, Manisa and Izmir. Authorities report no immediate casualties, though 22 people were injured, mostly from falls caused by panic. Emergency teams are on the ground assessing the damage and providing support to affected communities. To accommodate those displaced by the earthquake, authorities have opened schools, mosques and other public buildings as temporary shelters. Meanwhile, relief teams are coordinating operations and conducting inspections across all neighborhoods to ensure public safety. Sindirgi has faced repeated seismic activity, including a magnitude 6.1 quake in August that killed 1 person and injured dozens. Smaller tremors have continued as Turkey sits on major fault lines and is prone to earthquakes.
Over in Ankara, Turkey and the United Kingdom have signed a major defence agreement on Eurofighter Typhoon jets that the two sides say will boost NATO security. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the agreement for 20 new aircraft will boost defence ties and support jobs in the British aerospace industry. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called the deal a new symbol of strategic partnership and said it would open the door to further joint projects. Both leaders also reaffirmed plans to expand trade.
This will bolster security across NATO, deepen our bilateral defence cooperation, and boost economic growth here and in the United Kingdom, securing 20,000 British jobs, building these state-of-the-art fighter jets. That is something to celebrate. I'm proud that British Typhoons will form a vital part of the Turkish Air Force for many years to come, as you defend NATO's southeastern flank for the good of all of us.
Bugünkü görüşmelerimizin odağını ticaret ve
I regard this agreement as a new symbol of the strategic relationship between two close allies. We are determined to increase our trade volume to $30 billion in the first stage, and then to $40 billion. We remain committed to further strengthening our economic relations. Our relevant institutions are taking a number of steps, including updating our free trade agreement. We are also exploring opportunities for joint investments in third countries. Our goal is to establish new partnerships in the fields of energy and defense industries.
Russian energy giant Lukoil says it plans to sell its foreign assets following new US and UK sanctions. The sanctions aimed at Russia's energy sector this month focus on Lukoil, Rosneft and numerous subsidiaries. The company is reviewing bids under a US Treasury wind-down license, which allows limited transactions for a set period. Lukoil's market value dropped by nearly $3.7 billion last week. The company hasn't disclosed which assets it will sell, but its major foreign holdings include a 75% stake in Iraq's West Kurna 2 oil field, as well as refineries in Bulgaria and Romania. Iran's transport ministry has said Russia will provide $1.6 billion to complete the Rasht-Astara railway. The project is meant to connect Iran, Azerbaijan and Russia. Aturaj Shiraliliu has more in Tehran.
Iran's Minister of Road and Urban Development, Farzaneh Sadeh, said the contract on construction of the Rasht-Astara railway in the Iranian province of Gilan will be concluded next month in Russia. Also, her deputy, Hushang Bazvand, announced Russia's agreement to finance the railway project worth $1.6 billion. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of launching a road development project in central Iran, the minister said final agreement on signing the Rasht-Astara railway project was reached earlier this month during her visit to Azerbaijan. She said that the trilateral meeting on transport and cargo transit cooperation between Iran, Azerbaijan and Russia in Baku was an important event that focused on completion of the international north-south transport corridor. The Astara-Rasht railway is the missing link of the 7,200-kilometer long north-south corridor that will integrate railways of Iran, Azerbaijan, Russia and India. The project is 162 kilometers long, consisting of 8 stations, 56 bridges and 35 overpasses. According to the minister's deputy, Bazvand, Russia has agreed to provide Iran with $1.6 billion in low-cost facilities at a 3% interest rate for the construction of the Rasht-Astara railway. Following the Iranian minister's visit to Baku, Sadeh said that in a meeting with Azerbaijani officials, both sides reviewed the progress of joint transport and transit projects and agreed on organizing transit of goods at the border. Sadeh, who is also the co-chairperson of Azerbaijan-Iran Joint Economic Cooperation Commission, added that progress of joint infrastructure projects demonstrates Baku and Tehran's firm determination to advance their shared development objectives. Aturaj Shiraliliu, Tehran, A-News.
Uzbekistan and the European Union have reaffirmed their partnership during meetings in Brussels. The talks focused on expanding cooperation across trade, energy and digital innovation, as well as Uzbekistan's progress when it comes to joining the World Trade Organization. Our Sevil Rajapova has the details.
During high-level talks in Brussels between President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and European Union leaders Ursula von der Leyen and Antonio Costa, Uzbekistan and the European Union agreed to new project commitments worth more than $11 billion in sectors including green energy, transport, pharmaceuticals, and digital technology, bringing total European investment commitments in Uzbekistan to nearly $44 billion. President Mirziyoyev outlined 4 priority directions for the next phase of cooperation: expanding local processing of strategic raw materials, promoting renewable energy and chemical industry projects, developing logistics corridors linking Europe and Asia, and accelerating digital transformation through IT parks and innovation hubs. The discussions also underline Uzbekistan's progress in its accession to the World Trade Organization. Uzbekistan first applied for the WTO membership in 1994, paused the process in 2005 and renewed it in 2018 as part of major economic reforms. Since 2020, 4 rounds of multilateral negotiations have been held, and bilateral trade talks with 9 WTO members have been completed, with European Union technical support. These outcomes reflect a growing partnership between Uzbekistan and the European Union, one aimed at strengthening economic resilience, expanding trade opportunities, and ensuring sustainable long-term development. It is Sivir Rajapova reporting from Tashkent, Uzbekistan, A News.
That's your news update for this morning. From all of us in the studio, thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News.